Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope so everyone is good. Dear students, in the previous lecture I have discussed about the types of soil and composition of soil. Today I will discuss about the properties of soil. Dear students, soils have different properties. Okay, these properties helps us to determine the type of soil. What type of soil is that according to the properties? Different properties of soil are as percolation rate, percolation rate, moisture in soil, and absorption of water by soil. Dear students, all types of soil cannot absorb water. Okay, some soils absorb water and can hold it well. Plants growing in those types of soil grow very well. Such soils do not need required frequently watering. Okay, but plants growing in soil which cannot hold water very well need to be watered frequently. Otherwise, the plants die. If we do not water those plants frequently, those plants will die. Higher the water absorption tendency of the soil, higher is the water availability to the plant growing in it. If the soil has higher tendency of absorbing water, so that the higher water is there available for the plants that are growing in that type of soil. Loamy soil, that is one type of the soil, has maximum accurate water holding capacity, while sandy soil has least. Okay, loamy soil has maximum accurate water holding capacity, while sandy soil has least water holding capacity. Okay, this is all about absorption of water by soils. Different soils have different absorptions of water, like loamy soil has maximum water holding capacity, and the sandy soil that have least. Clay soil has moderate water holding capacity. Okay, now second is moisture in the soil. Dear students, soils have spaces in it which can hold water in it. As I have already discussed about that in the previous lecture, that soils have spaces in it and they have different water holding capacities. Moisture in soil can be guessed by the texture of the soil. What is the texture of the soil? We can guess how much moisture is present in that soil. This helps us in determining the amount of irrigation needed by the soil. If the moisture present in the soil, if the moisture present in the soil is higher, so that we do not require too much irrigation for that soil. We can see moisture present in the soil by heating a small amount of soil in the test tube. When you heat small amount of soil in the test tube, you will see some tiny drops of water at the mouth of the test tube. From those tiny drops, we know that there is moisture present in the soil. If the space is between the soil particles, okay, if the spaces between the soil particles is higher, then the moisture that present is higher. Or we can say that soil moisture and water absorption capacity of soil also varies among different types of the soil. Okay, and those soils which have higher spaces present in their particles, they have higher water holding capacities. And if the soil has lower spaces between the soil particles, okay, between the clay particles, between the particles that are present in the soil have lesser space, those soils are to be irrigated frequently. Third type, or the third properties of the soil, that is percolation rate. What is percolation rate? The rate at which water is absorbed by the soil is called percolation rate, or we can say that percolation rate is equal to amount of water divided by percolation time. Amount of water divided by percolation time. Or we can say that the rate at which water is absorbed. The rate at which water is absorbed by the soil is called percolation rate. It is very important to check the percolation rate of soil. Okay, it is very important to check the percolation rate of soil from time to time. Different soils have different percolation rates. Dear students, in soils with high percolation rate, water gets drained off rapidly. Okay, in soil with higher percolation rate, those soils which have higher percolation rate, the water that gets drained off rapidly and plants do not grow well without irrigation. So in those soils, we have to irrigate plant regularly. Second, in a soil with lower percolation rate, water does not get drained off rapidly. Okay, water does not get drained off rapidly in that type of soil. Water is absorbed by that type of soil in which the percolation rate is lower. Okay, and plants grow well without irrigation because the water is present as a form of moisture in that type of soil. These are the three different properties of the soil. Water absorption capacity of a cemented floor. Water absorption capacity of a cemented floor is very low. Although in the cemented floor there are pores, okay, although the cemented floor is porous to some extent, but porosity of that cemented floor is very low. Porosity of that cemented floor is very low. Dear students, most of the water that falls on the cemented floor evaporates, okay, or runs off. Okay, most of the water that falls on the cemented floor that evaporates or that runs off. Only a small amount of water is absorbed in it. So from those properties of the soil, we can determine which type of soil is it. First property, that is percolation rate. Second property, that is moisture in the soil. Third property, absorption of water by the soil. Okay, percolation rate is highest in sandy soil and least in clay soil. You have to remember these points. Percolation rate is highest in the sandy soil and it is least in the clay soil. Second, moisture in soil and absorption. Soil moisture and water absorption capacity of soil also varies among different types of the soil. Loamy soil has maximum accurate water holding capacity, while sandy soil have low or has least water holding capacity. These are all about the properties of soil. Dear students, soil and crops. This is one more topic, that is soil for crops. Only that soil is considered to be good for the cultivation which is fertile. Okay, what is fertile? Fertile soil means that soil which has sufficient amount of humus, sufficient amount of nutrients and water retention capacity. That type of soil is known as fertile soil. Dear students, there are some factors responsible for making the soil fertile, like suitable temperature, like light, moisture. Okay, suitable temperature, light, and moisture. These are the some factors which are responsible for making the soil fertile. Okay, what is fertile soil? Fertile soil means the soil which has sufficient amount of humus, which has sufficient amount of nutrients, which have water retention capacity. Besides these factors, the types of soil also determine the kind of crop it will, the type of crop that grows in that type of soil. Let us study about some soils which are suitable for different crops. Okay, first, that is clay soil. It is good for growing crops like paddy. Okay, paddy. Okay, Paddy, clay soil has greater humus. For paddies that grow in the clay soil has great humus. It is fertile and it retain water well. Water is allowed to stand in the fields up to the depth of 1.5 centimeter to 2.5 centimeter after the seedlings are planted, and even the seedlings are planted in a wet field. As you have seen that those paddy fields, or we can say rice plants, okay, water is allowed, their water is allowed to stand in the fields up to the depth of 1.5 centimeter to 2.5 centimeter, and after the seedlings are planted, and even the seedlings are planted in the wet fields. Okay, second, that is loamy soil. So we can say here that those clay soil paddies that can grow well in the clay soil. Loamy soil, lentils, lentils and other pulses. Okay, lentils and other pulses that grow very well in the loamy soil. Okay, loamy lentils and other pulses grow well in such soils as they drain water easily. Okay, as they drain water easily. Loamy soil drain water easily. Cotton grows well in loamy soil or sandy soil. Okay, cottons they also grow very well in sandy soil or loamy soil. Wheat and gram they grow very well in clay soil and loamy soil. So dear students, from here we know that different types of soils required for growing different types of crops, like paddy soil that grow in very well in clay soil, paddy plant that grows very well in clay soil, pulse that grows very well in loamy soil, cotton that requires sandy soil or sandy loam or loamy soil, wheat and gram they require clay and loamy soil. This is all about the soil suitability for crops, and also I have discussed about the properties of the soil. In the next lecture we will discuss one more topic of this chapter.